counts for everybody.
KFC.
Yeah, it's really relative to a person. What they call benefits may not be benefits to you, but because of their background and what they have seen and what they have experienced, when you offer them something different, obviously they're gonna think this is the peak you're paying.
A stranger's car. Drive all the way to Umingsdale in the middle of the night. Go and be rode there.
Welcome, my child. You are not judged here. This is the confession booth. Your story, your secret, your scandal. Unfiltered, unjudged.
I think the older I get, the more I realize that the idea of settling down with anybody at that age is a terrible, terrible idea. There are so many things that I know now that I didn't know at 23. I'm not the same person I was when I was 23 years old. And this person that I was at 23 years old is somebody who had no business settling down or getting married. This is my own personal opinion, judging from like my own personal experience.
So what you think?
So what I'm basically saying is that I don't think a 23-year-old has any business settling down. As much as we wanna say, oh hey, you know, as in a formula, you know, some people get married at 21, some people get married at, but the numbers do actually show that sometimes these things have a formula. So I don't think at 23 it should be a priority to want to get married. That's just me though. So, Nash.
Anyway, guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Confession Booth. I'm out here with one of my favorite person, Salome Rich Auntie, my medical practitioner, Manyama. Recently graduated. You know the Uber.
Yes.
Yo, Uber.
Use actually for girls.
For girls, yeah. It's just form 3. Anyway, how you doing?
I'm good, Alex. How are you?
I'm all right. I was having an argument with someone earlier on. You know, like Pauno Pindamukombi, kana kuti pa queue ye kumateka away ma fast food. Unosangana nevanhu vari talented, so vari pamberi varotonetsa, and you know, like you then have to be subject to famba squeeze, and then. So I was having an argument with someone about, like, I was saying, we're talking about Lizzo, and we're like, yo, you know, some of the things that she does, I mean, I don't understand the whole movement of, I know body positivity, or at least people are cheerleading people to their graves, you know what I mean? Like, people are dying of conditions that are like, from that. I don't know what's your take on that, because I know that, you know, you're always body positive, you're thick. Keyword thick.
Okay, so I've always found it problematic how everybody is suddenly so concerned with people's health when it comes to fat people, you know? Suddenly you're a doctor and you're worried about diabetes and all of this cardiovascular diseases, and suddenly you want to give me advice about how to lose weight and all of that. I think that's the actual question we should be asking. Why are people so concerned with people's health to that extent? At least in terms of why are we not concerned about I've never seen anybody calling out alcoholism, and you guys are always doing weed every other day, every other time. No, but it's a conversation
my
that needs to be had.
is this. My pushback is this, right? I don't think people, so you see the society that we live in right now currently, I don't think that people are calling that out of the blue. I don't care, like, if people do whatever they do in their business. See, I think the problem that people have is when it seems and it's sold as cool.
Okay.
I understand the history, and I understand the schematics, and I understand why it's important. Like, you know, like, coming from being a son of a black woman, I understand the reason why women, especially black women, are supposed to be seen in a certain light. I understand that, and I get that, and I respect that, and I appreciate that. But it's just that musazoudze vafana vedu vari ma12-year-old yedu kuti this is, you know what I mean?
I think the aims of the body positivity movement is to encourage people to love their bodies in whatever form they are. I think two things can coexist at the same time. You can want to work on your body and still love it in whatever form it is. I think having an unhealthy relationship with your body leads to a lot of things, and having an unhealthy relationship with food and all of that. So I think like any other movement, there's always going to be some people who are going to misinterpret it or take parts of it and run with it because obviously it fits whatever they took from that movement. It's not necessarily cool. I don't think anybody comes out here and promotes people to be fat whilst they know that maybe it's unhealthy or whatever. I think the main aim is to just make people be comfortable in their own skin in whatever form they are. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I totally understand you. So anyway, in India, I've got a small little problem that I might need you to help me with, right? So I'm sort of like having this problem, right, currently, where shikes, it's gonna be this a mess because this one.
Now I'm scared already. What's this problem?
No. So I find myself in this situation where like I've been in these relationships, but like where you're in a relationship with someone, right? They're perfect and everything is cool, but you still can't get over the fact that she is a child and I don't, and I'm always like, and I'm a single mothers, but what I'm saying is like, how do you go about it? Like, as in, am I overthinking this whole thingy, or am I or is it natural for me to think, let me settle down with someone who doesn't have a kid?
I think it's okay. I think it's natural. There are a lot of things that come with settling down with somebody who has a child, because you're not just accepting one person. You are now having to accept, two people. You can't then say you
20 even, because I'm at the equation, because like no one
so now you have to have like a certain level of maturity to then say, you know what, I'm taking in this child, and if I'm taking in this child, I'm going to have to deal with the baby daddy. I'm going to have to deal with the relatives of this child from the baby daddy side and all of that. I think a lot of things are involved, and starting your life with those uncertainties is never like a good thing. So if you're unsure about it, actually the real question should be, why get into a relationship with a single mother if you're not comfortable with settling down with somebody who has a child to begin with? Why is that an afterthought after you get into a relationship? Did you not know that there was a child involved?
No, you know that there's a child involved, right? But I mean, it's not like this person is gonna. It's not like this. So, kanamchita my chills, my vibes. But then you then start thinking of things like, I wanna go to the Guyana with my person for the first time. I wanna experience this experience of, we're having a kid and the excitement and everything for the first time with you. And also, I just want that time and space when we settle down to Pasina. Not that I'm not saying that I hate kids, I love kids. But
no, I totally do.
You know what I mean? Like you wanna have that whole
just you and your partner,
and your person and whatever. Because imagine right now, right? But hama dzemwana dzinegona kuti sitrumbudawo mukomana for Christmas. So it's always then, because already dealing with your person's relatives is one thing. Mm-hmm. Now you're dealing with your person's relatives, and now you're dealing with her baby daddy's relatives. You're like,
I do understand. It's actually a lot, and I totally understand. It's perfectly natural. That was your question, right?
Yeah.
It's perfectly natural to not want that kind of a setup, and nobody should be, I don't know, looked at in some sort of negative way for deciding. I think the reason behind not wanting that kind of setup is what matters really.
I actually think Jimafuti big, because you look at like when I think the people who actually did the co-parenting thing quite well is and I know the funny thing is that society got a piece of food online. Zinhle, aka may his soul rest in peace, Super Mega, and Bong Murder Bongs. I'm like, I think that's like the way they blended those things. But yeah,
my conclusion from that whole argument was that people do not know, have never experienced what healthy relationships look like. I think it was our trauma speaking from years of being in unhealthy setups and all of that. When you're in there for a long time, you start thinking that that's the normal way of doing things. If you notice, some people are even bringing in culture and stuff like that. It being culture doesn't mean it's not toxic, guys. It doesn't mean anything, really. So I think they were having a very healthy relationship, and I think that's what everybody should like strive to have if you are in that kind of a setup. You know, have healthy relationship with your baby daddy's relatives, so that because you're doing it for the child at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's not about you. It's not about your feelings. It's not about anybody else but your child. Your child needs to grow up in a healthy home setup, and if that's not happening, you have failed that child. It's best to just dissolve the whole thing.
Do you think in big? Do you think would like back? My problem. I'm not my problems. Big so.
Absolutely,
like, I think,
you're right.
I think also it's you know what to go to school fees, but can I beg really?
$400 USD in the government.
Yeah,
so now you're thinking I have to pay for this kid about kuchikoro kwa vanenge vachidedzera 100 nemakala akadaiso kuyaya pakuda kutenga zvino 1000. So definitely I do think that money counts. It brings a certain level of convenience and comfort as well. Tumwe tumatensions tunoitika exactly, because you do have the capacity to provide and bring convenience to your home, you know, and normally and naturally people tend to respect, you know, mari. That's just how our society is.
You being someone who's very like vocal on social media, what's your take on the influence that social media is having in like people's relationships, just the way in their our measure of success and relationships and Rora squads and doing whatever.
Okay, so I think the statement we are what we eat. Okay, I wanted to apply it to this particular, you know, conversation that we're having. We are what we consume. That's one thing for sure. And it definitely does count, and it definitely contributes to our pressure of wanting to look like we have it all. We have the happiness, we have the money, we have the success. You know, I got married and I want you guys to know. But sometimes I genuinely think that people are just doing it to, like, people have different ways of expressing themselves. We're all there because we want to express ourselves, isn't it? We're all there because we want to give like pieces of our lives to all of the people that are following us and everything. So I think how we interpret it as people who are watching you is up to us. Sometimes it's not even meant to pressure you. Sometimes I'm not even putting it because or, you know, whatever it is that people may conclude from whatever it is that I'm deciding to show them. But back to your question, yes, I think it has contributed a lot, and because everybody wants to look like they have it all together, and when we see people who have it all together, it makes us feel like, you know, we are running behind time. School wakaona pakariliswa so na Pastor Maindiri ya tangaineni, you know, tangaineni, that tangaineni song.
Yeah.
You see, everybody was applauding that. It's people could relate to that. Everybody wants to make it up. Ana munhu akuda kusarira kumashurisha. Ndikatoona iwe uchitoita kunge zvinhu zvako zvikutokufambira. It may not be pressure per se, but it may make me feel some type of way kuti kwenini wamana zvangu zvichaita urini.
Ew, like, speaking of social media and pressures and stuff, right? Like, I saw this disturbing video of this guy. Akabata marriage material, wife material, akabata jira lodge, and the guy became violent. And I do not condone violence of any sort besides kanairi BD chakut in bedroom. But what's your take on people who get violent when my red flags on it? Like what's the best way to deal with a situation like you? I ask this because you're a serial cheater and you've cheated on people before. How do you?
Alex is lying, by the way. I'm no serial cheater. But anyways, I actually think that being violent is embarrassing yourself for the second time after you've already been embarrassed by your partner. I think the best way to deal with that is to walk away. While some people may not react the same way, I still don't think violence is the answer at any point. Yes and everything, but what does it solve? Because now we can see your face, we can see what. But I always talk about kutinini. I will never carry shame for being cheated on. Why are you shaming me? I'm not the one who did a terrible thing.
It's not indicative on who I am as a person.
Yes, but actually, society doesn't actually work like that. It shames munu. So isusu pate dichiwonaka trikuteti chitoti blaza vari kutozvimagisa dai atongobvapo and just like walk away from the whole situation. Violence is never the answer. I think you should just walk away from those scenarios. Yo kaurirwa noita sei? Nonorovere kumutsa fight.
I like I would walk away and like look at me. Do I look like someone who doesn't have options? Like okay. No, I'll be for real though. Like it's with me, it depends on the level.
But yet, moyo knows that azishati dzichidaro much. Zvekuti adzi une ma option 100 it doesn't work like that. Moyo unenge uchitoda ari kutokuitira ma 1 year. So sometimes people do not do all of that, not because they don't have options somewhere waiting kuti, if they break up, I'm next in line. No. Moyo unenge waitwa.
Let me be honest with you. I used to get hurt because like when you get not cheated on per se, but when you get dumped and whatever. I used to get hurt by that until I got to a point in my life where I was like, it's not a reflection of who I am, because it's like I started understanding and telling myself that what this person has done, it's not about me, it's about what they, and like the more you start doing that, the more you're like, okay, if this person wants to be here, then it's cool. If they don't, it's not. Because like sometimes you'll be like, so hey, and sometimes let's be honest, gentlemen out there, you know what I mean, sometimes you don't know how to show to da mwana uyu kwaenda anenge ayambuka because pizza anga chitongoiona pa terrific Tuesday
once a month pandobhadharwa.
So you know what I mean. So it's like you also have to be realistic with those things, and that's when you learn a lot through breakups and heartbreaks and understanding that okay, love is not enough, being romantic is not enough. That's when you understand that being financially responsible is actually a love language as well. Showing up and like just having drive as a human being, like yo, norungo gara shingoti, I miss you, where are you, 24/7,
come over.
You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. So I totally understand. So tell me, what are some of the craziest stories that happened on your years in campus?
The funny story is I don't have any crazy stories. Let me tell you why. I was cool, Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences.
All right.
It has a different campus on its own, like completely different, Padrinyato campus. So there's nothing crazy happening there. Or if there is something crazy happening there, I didn't know about it. I don't know. It was just people doing their thing. Tangatiri vashomasterek for anything to happen, or at least that's what I thought, because I never heard of anything during my time there. Nyaya dzandaitonzwa dzaitopisa ndedzeku Mount Pleasant, and I always wished I was there at some point, because it seemed to be like, a hive of activity and all of that, whilst the other part was just low. But I actually prefer that, because I feel like it saved me from a lot of things that I could have possibly gotten myself into. Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually think it was a very good idea for me to be there because ndakajambwa nezvakawanda sharp and use it. I don't want to lie. To say that opportunities didn't come my way would be a lie because they did. But there's only jamba man.
When you say opportunities, what do you mean? Range Rovers? No, let's talk about this. Like, there are kids out there in New Zealand watching this episode and you're like, yo.
I'm talking, the usual.
Jägermeister.
Men with money and them wanting to exploit you and making you feel like they're doing you a favor. And my drinks. Plus, Saka, my drinks was never like part of the plan for me. But yeah, just the usual, the blazer. I was never tempted to try it out. I would also be lying because it's money. Sometimes when you go to college, unika $10 kakatongomira in terms of panozoitika kama emergency pongo yakana munhu arungoti 500 baba hande kwakati. It's not easy to say no to such kind of things, to be honest. Because if I say right now that I wasn't tempted at some point to say, what's the worst that could possibly happen? But home training,
So tell me, like, because I don't understand, zvivindi zvinoitwa nevanasikana vanenge vachiita masports here. But like, imagine you can jump into a stranger's car. Mm-hmm. Drive all the way to Umingsdale in the middle of the night, go and be rode there.
You know what?
Like, where do you guys find these guts?
I actually think in my actual age. I remember we had this conversation a while ago about age.
All right.
I'm not the same person I was when I was 21. The things that I value now are not the things that I used to value when I was in college. So, my father likes to call it kutsonga. It's a Samanyika term for uchiri mudiki, so you wouldn't understand. Kusatongoziva and my priorities are nenga because when you're in college, you want to be the coolest. You want to look good. You want to come with a different outfit every day. You want to get your hair done maybe in 2 weeks' time. You want to get your nails done. Apa yokumba kwenye urutumirwa $20. $20 aiite kana my nails, guys. So I think at that age, you're under so much pressure to want to fit in with everybody and look like you are okay. Ndiwe uri kupisa overpost kwane use it celebs uko and all of that. So that pressure inokuita to uite like overlook a lot of things. And magazi unotomaita chit as long as it's money. Plus imagine it's just being naive nje because of age. The pressure. So I think like combination of all of those things just make you do things that when you look back in time, you wouldn't believe that wakazi does you need to do. That's why people are always being advised not to settle with people of that age, or people of that age to settle with anybody, because at that age apana kana chaunotomboziya sha ukutongofunga zvekuti ndikazotengerwa KFC yangu ndikaiposta pastatus ndoregedza kuenda dining and all of that. It's the little things that we want, and when you don't get them, you want to go to extreme measures to get them. And at that point, because you're young, you don't think of the consequences. I'm not saying this counts for everybody.
KFC.
I didn't say that, but it's not about the KFC. It's about the life itself. No, it's about the life itself, Alex.
I hear.
Do you obviously, do you honestly think there's somebody who's gonna be like, ndukurarirwa KFC and that's that? Sha. My benefits are not a package. And I'm not talking from experience. This is from my research.
From
my research.
From your dissertation.
Yes. I know where are packages. there are people who are not afraid to throw around money, and there are people who throw around money that's change to them, but to you, because you're a student, you don't have anything to your name. It's a lot. Ufungati, when I was 21, monakandiba 500 USD in the no bata denga at that point, because I didn't have any income.
Literally and better.
Yes, but you're right actually.
Yeah.
At that age nenge tori mari yakawandisa inenge ichitonzi woendeswa kumatripi ndonotengerwa
Kuti vamwana grade 7 here kuendera matrip. Remember vanhu grade 7 right now big force.
as matripi ekulayon and Cheetah Park aya matripi ane musoro ale.
Kariba.
No,
Airbnb.
no, but also that, like I said, unozati nyaya dzinonetsera chi. People have different, they come from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
For a girl who comes from, I'm trying to avoid mentioning a specific location because
No, please do.
from a girl who comes from a low-income household.
Dakamvura. Unobva kupi?
Ukuthi chine vanhu vekudanga mvura sha.
Alright, continue.
Let's just say people from low-income households, right? The idea of a trip to Kariba, a trip to Chinoi Caves, Muniye, keep in mind kuti they have never had to experience any of those things in their young life or adult life. So when you then offer them those things, so to answer your question, kude vanhu vanotorarirwa KFC? Yes, because nyaya idzi dziri relative to a person. What they call benefits may not be benefits to you, but because of their background and what they have seen and what they have experienced, when you offer them something different, obviously they're gonna think this is the peak you're paying. So it takes a lot of growing up, it takes a lot of learning, it takes a lot of experience to learn some of these things.
I get you. So tell me something, Salo. What do you look for, like, when you're trying to choose a partner? Because you talked about settling, or like what are some of the things, 4 things that you look at, and in face for you to, if you kwanza is for wayambu or selection phase?
I definitely look into somebody who is emotionally intelligent. Because if you're emotionally intelligent, it means you are kind, you can communicate, you have empathy and all of those things. So I think everything just fits under people like emotional intelligence. Ndamunhu mukuru sha Alex, ndakutsvaga munhu ari kuziva zvaari kuita mulife make. Not to say you have to be financially stable or whatever, but that would be a plus, of course, you know, because hatidye love guys. Rendi dzemuharare umu hadzibhadharwe nelove. So definitely somebody who is financially stable, or someone who's working on it with a future yekuti zvinhu izvi zvichafamba. Inangwa ndi vanhu vakashata. Ndoziva hangu kuti vanhu kuti malooks haana basa, malooks emurume ari muhomwe. Uyade homwe yako yakanaka, yako yakanaka. I wouldn't date him. I cannot. Even if he has $1 billion or whatever, it's just a no for me. I cannot. Andikwanisi. Looks are definitely a plus for me. Looks, especially height. It's definitely anti-height under my looks, right? So now we are on what? We are on 3. I prefer somebody who is very driven. I like somebody who's driven. I need to know what do you want to do? What's gonna happen? What's your plan? You know, all of that. You're just running on vibes. You know, that's. I don't think I can do with that.
Would you be a stay-at-home mom? Would you be like a stay-at-home wife, like a housewife? Like if you got married and then you got married to someone who's conservative, who's like, yo,
absolutely not. I don't think I can do that. Even I always have this conversation with my friends about do you guys think that you would be like housewives if you were to get married to financially stable men, or do they provide everything? I don't think it's wise to marriage, right? You need to have trusted somebody enough with your own life. And the reason why some people may be housewives is because they trust their husbands enough to be there for them financially and whatever, in whatever capacity that they can. But personally, I think it's a very dangerous concept to put all your trust in somebody like that, to say they're going to take care of me through and through. People change, yeah. And you will not realize that you've been living with a monster until it just unleashes its wrath on you. So I don't think I would want to be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe doing something on the side or whatever, but I'll definitely make sure that I have something on my own that is going on for me. Besides Kumboti, I cannot put my trust in somebody. I don't think the idea of being a stay-at-home mother is appealing to me, at least. Kuti ndomuka ndotsvaira ndochengeta vana, stuff like that, and prepare for everybody to leave and clean up after everyone. I don't think it's something that I would want to spend the rest of my life doing. Our mothers did it and they were happy. Well, that's them and that's okay. But I don't think that I would feel fulfilled and I would feel like I've achieved my purpose or whatever it is that people look for.
So in closing, what advice would you give to a young girl out there arikutsongwa nemablesa and arifunga kuti chini ichi chivaruke?
Zvinhu zvauri kuvhairirwa nazvo shaka zvakachipa zvisigate chingoshanda wangu. Those people, they don't have your best interests at heart. So the sooner you realize that, the better it is for you. But if you want to go down that path, I always told people in college, guys, benefit something from it. Get something out of it. You know, you can't just be, you know, a sugar baby, right? Like, it's business. You put your vagina to good use, ma'am. You know, if you choose to take that route, honestly, because you can't say you are ukudyirwa zvana KFC wakafanana neswana vanasa lomtisi na chinhu ngazvioneke difference yekuti yai musikana uyu zvinhu zvake zviri kuita sei zviri kufaya. Put your vagina to good use. Although I wouldn't advise it, but if you decide, because you know you're an adult and and that's totally fine, put your vagina to good use. If you decide to go down that road, make sure you get something out of that is solid and stable, because that life is very short-lived. They will just use you and drop you, because that's how they do it. They will be waiting. In 2-3 years, they'll be waiting for the next freshman to come, and the cycle continues. After that, iwewe unenge watosiwa paside. So now you have to figure out your own life on your own. Make sure kuti nobva uinewo something yekuti ukazosiwa ka, you can proudly say, you know what, wakandiramba zvako iwewe, but wakanditangira mabusiness, ukanditengera mota, ukanditengera imba, all of those things. Although zvinhu zvacho zvesezvo unogona ngozvishandirako wega without doing all of that.
Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe. Tinao medical practitioner manyama. Till the next time.
As a confession. Go ye, my child, and sin no more.